Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are NC.
Royals baseball back at Kauffman Stadium. Only 24 games to go. And the Royals are 2.5 games back of the Minnesota Twins. They are here tonight to begin a 4-game series. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. When the road trip began, the Royals were 4.5 games back. Several teams they had to pass in the wild card standings. 4-2 HUD. They're just 2.5 games back. These are going to be like playoff games with Minnesota.
Ding, 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 ding. That's right. The make-believe playoffs start tonight. And when we were back here before we went on the road trip, right, at 4.5 out with all these cities and all these teams to go above was not looking good at all. But when you continue to win series, you gain games. Look what they did on their road trip. They gained 2 in that second wild card spot. Very important. But that pitching is key. Starting pitching for sure. But something tells me in this 4-game series, defense is going to play the tune for a win for the Royals.
And Minnesota, they have their sights set on winning a wild card spot. The Royals have really turned around the season series with Minnesota. We'll talk about that when we come back. Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. It was a struggle for the Royals in the Central Division in the first month, and especially against Minnesota. This is a team that lost 103 games last year, and they began 6-0 against the Royals this season. The Royals bullpen really struggled with a 9 ERA, but the Royals bullpen improved, and now the Royals have won 6 of their last 9 against Minnesota.
That's right. It was a shocker that Minnesota came out of the gate so quickly, but in game 1 this past week up there, Scotty boy Alexander was awesome. He stepped in for Herrera, shut it down. Now in game 2, their bats came alive. There's no question about it. The Minnesota Twins can hit. and they showed that the game 2. Now the rubber game, the important and final game, we outslugged them. Locane playing ping pong off the right center field wall, crashing and burning, scoring. Royals everywhere was a beautiful thing, taking the series and head on to Tiger Town, where they did the same thing. Hopefully they could find the same remedy. They could pitch, catch, and get those timely hits.
Yeah, and starting pitching has really been an issue for the Royals beginning on August the 1st. For the Minnesota Twins, starting pitching has been an issue all year. And when we come back, Joel and Monty will talk starting pitching for both teams.
Pitch here on a beautiful Kansas City night at Kauffman Stadium. First of 4, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, who has already said earlier that this may just be the biggest series of the year. Now the key, Monty, getting pitching production from this spot that has been vacated at least temporarily by Danny Duffy with the DL. So let's talk about this pitching matchup. And for Kyle Gibson, he's been bad all year, but much better lately. We saw it in 6 shutout innings against the Royals. How's he done it?
Well, he's been able to really kind of turn things around. And by the way, he's won all 3 starts against the Royals just this year, at least his team has. But he's starting to throw his fastball for strikes. He's getting ahead with that sinking fastball, really getting ahead in pitcher's counts, and he's been much better.
All right, the Royals claim Sam Gaviglio off of waivers from Seattle, and we get to see his Royals debut. He has started before in the big leagues. What can you tell us about him?
Well, we should see a lot of ground balls. He's going to keep the ball down in the zone. He's got a nice sinking fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. Everything should be down. He's got great late life. That's what I like about his sinking fastball. Should use that defense to his benefit.
Former 5th-round draft pick of the Cardinals, made his debut with the Mariners this year, and hoping that he and Eric Hosmer can take care of the Twins. First pitch coming up. Ryan and Hunt with the call next.
Sports Kansas City is brought to you by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By the Missouri Lottery, every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Ford, going further so you can. Royals would like to go further up in the standings. They averaged about 6 runs per game on the road trip. The Royals have won 4 of their last 6. Minnesota has lost 4 of its last 6. The lineups in the first pitch are coming up next. In the 15 home dates in August, the average first pitch temperature was 79 degrees. 79 degrees in August in Kansas City. Speaking of August, that's when Minnesota's offense really hit its stride. Since August the 1st, Minnesota has more runs than any team in the major leagues, and they've hit the 2nd most home runs. Byron Buxton is healthy. He's back in the lineup. Jason Castro and Robbie Grossman have both come back from the disabled list since the Royals were in Minnesota. And tonight they'll be facing Sam Gaviglio, making his Royals debut. It will be his 2nd start against Minnesota this year.
Yeah. So the Twins have seen him. It's been 7 days since he last pitched in Omaha AAA. Or excuse me, he was with the Seattle Mariners. But he's 27 years old, 6'2", 200. Now he's a sinker ball pitcher. Hopefully he can work that fastball, slider, curve, changeup all down in the zone and use the defense on the ground. The infielders have got to be on their toes. One of the reasons why Torres is in there today, as we got him highlighted, his 16th career start in the big leagues, 5th at third base. He's very good to his left and right. Moose is adequate enough to play third base, but Ned went with Torres.
Here's our umpiring crew, which includes the crew chief, Joe West, in his 40th year as a big league umpire. And he has umpired 5,000 games. He accomplished that this year. Calling the balls and strikes will be Chris Siegel as he dusts off home plate. And we are ready to go with Brian Dozier coming up against Sam Gaviglio, 27 years old, 6'2", 200 pounds. He is from Oregon, drafted by Tampa Bay out of high school, and then he went to Oregon State, and then drafted by the Cardinals out of college. and traded to the Mariners in 2014. Brian Dozier is really heating up in the second half, and in particular in his last 8 games. Gaviglio's first pitch is a Royal. Good movement and a fastball at 90 in for a strike.
That's what Ned's hoping for. He can stay at the knees and use those infielders. I mentioned that he pitched for Omaha. No, he was in Tacoma. That's the AAA team for the Seattle Mariners. That's where in his last start. And that was August 31st, so it hasn't been long since his last start.
Claimed off of waivers by the Royals from Seattle on September the 1st. Just outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Brian Dozier in his last 8 games has hit 3 home runs. He has scored 11 times. He's driven in 8. Well, his fastball isn't straight, that's for sure. 2-2.
Oh, beautiful sinker there. Ground ball, working hard. Sinker, slider. All to win and all to gain, nothing to lose in this start for him here. He wants to impress. Doesn't even know half the guys on the team. So he can really stand up big time if he can eat up some innings here and hold down the Twins.
Salvi wants to take a look at his slider on 2-2, and it's tap foul. Minnesota Twins will take their walks, and the top of the order has really done its job. The league has had a tough time this year keeping Brian Dozier and Joe Mauer off the bases in front of Miguel Sano, who's still on the disabled list, Byron Buxton, Eddie Rosario, Max Kepler. Off speed, and Dozier strikes out to begin the game.
Dave Ireland, he probably doesn't get the vantage point that we do from seeing his pitches here, but I'll tell you what, they all had excellent movement in the first hitter. That's what you want. That ball moves. Hitters swing over the top of it, especially if you're a sinker baller.
Joe Mauer at 302. He lost a 14-game hitting streak yesterday in Tampa Bay. It was the 6th time in his career that he's had a hitting streak of 14 or more games. Back to the middle and into center field. So he begins a new hitting streak tonight. So we talked about the walks, but Dozier and Mauer can also hit. The best on base percentage in the major leagues from a number 1 and number 2 hitter. Minnesota has the 3rd best on base percentage, and that's the goal for your number 1 and 2 hitters.
Get on base.
And now Jorge Polanco with 1 on 1 out. That is line to right field. Polanco jumps on the first pitch. Melky cuts it off deep. Mauer will be held at 3rd, and Polanco has a double. And he's really been piling up the extra base hits since the beginning of August. That is his 28th double of the year.
Confident hitter. He's totally different than he was earlier in the season, that's for sure. 2-seamer stayed up, didn't stay down. That's belt high up, and he's able to turn on it with no problem. Gene Glynn, 3rd base coach for the Twins, did a nice job. There's no need to rush him home here. No need to try it. Got 2nd and 3rd 1-out opportunities galore. See what Ned decides to do with the defense.
Eddie Rosario batting 4th. Miguel Sano is still on the disabled list with an injury to his shin. Good spot. 0-1.
See, the corners are in. That'll probably freeze Mauer. But up the middle, I think this early in the game, he wants, being a ground ball pitcher, is Gavilio gives him more range up the middle. Keep that runner from second from possibly scoring, rather than having the infielders in.
Kept it down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gavilio has pitched in 12 big league games this year, 11 starts before tonight. Here's what we know about him. He seems to get better the tighter the situation becomes. That would come in handy right here. And Rosario's down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a good heavy sinker on his hands there. Good pitch.
He struck out Dozier to begin the game tonight, but he is typically not a strikeout pitcher.
Waste a pitch. Keep her down.
Got him.
And Rosario, he's saying, you know what? I've faced him twice before, but I didn't see that kind of movement. He's 0 for 2. Now he's 0 for 3. That's a beauty. Now that curveball there looks like that's what that was. Opponent's only hitting 192 on it. Slider. Might have been a slider. Not a big difference in the miles per hour. The curve's right at 79, 80, and the slider's at 82. So slider's typically a shorter break.
Got the corner on Buxton. Byron Buxton has turned his season around dramatically. He is becoming what Minnesota hoped he would become when they drafted him in the first round out of high school in Georgia. Foul, and it's 0-2.
You know, I like how Buxton is starting. He's relaxed. His back leg is bent, so he's got his weight on his backside. The bat just sits on his shoulder. His hands are loose. That's what you want. Starting position for a hitter is important. Gotta stay loose. Be comfortable. The most comfortable starting position you could be in to react. Staying ahead here. Nothing too good.
1-2. Right before the Royals got to Minnesota last weekend, the Twins were fearful that Buxton was done for the season with a broken hand. It ended up being just a bruised hand. He missed the first game of that 3-game weekend series. And then in the last 2 games went 5 for 7. One hop to Escobar, who's got to hurry. Buxton can fly. Out. And Gavilio gets out of the top of the first inning. Minnesota had runners at second and third with 1 out. A strikeout against Rosario. Eric Hosmer is in the Royals dugout, so he was convinced that Buxton was out. Minnesota will not challenge. It was close, but Minnesota strands 2 in scoring position in the first. playing from behind in all 3 games, and they came back and won 2 of them. And they were poised to score in the first inning tonight, but Sam Gaviglio bears down, and now here come the Royals, fresh off of 13 runs last night in Detroit. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. Even being shut out in one of the games on the road trip, the Royals still average 5.7 runs per game and hit 9 home runs in the 6 games through Minnesota and Detroit. And now Kyle Gibson throws a fastball for a strike.
Gibson's been good, especially his past 3 starts. He's 3-0 with a 1.37. Been dealing. However, the opponents are hitting 300 off him. He's up in the zone when he doesn't really want to be. That's where he wants to stay. He's a good sinker baller. Okay, sinker, slider, change, curve. See the percentage of fastballs. Look for those up in the zone. See him up and don't miss it. Use the middle of the field. Right back up the middle.
1-2 on Witt, who had 3 doubles last night in Detroit. The Royals had 10 extra base hits in last night's game, including a 4 double inning. And Dozier comes up to make the play on the fly. 1 down.
Minnesota Twins defense, good to see Jason Castro back. He had a concussion. He got off the protocol, and you know, he's a good catcher, and especially throwing. He's got a career 24 percentage of throwing guys out.
One down to Lorenzo Cain, who hit .474 on the road trip with 5 RBIs. Down and away, ball 1. This is the second time the Royals will see Gibson in a week. On Saturday, he pitched well. He also pitched with an enormous lead. He took the mound in the top of the 3rd inning on Saturday with a 10-0 lead. And that was his first win against the Royals in 2 years. So take nothing away from that. But he didn't pitch with much pressure on Saturday.
No, Royals, they got a little revenge factor on their mind there. You saw that last pitch there that Locane barely swung to. He was fooled. But I was talking with Whitley before the game about Gibson, and he said that he used more changeups against the Royals last time out than he had ever before, and it was working. So it was on, so it was really keeping him off balance. Still, looking heater.
That's the second afterthought type of a swing from Cain. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lorenzo Cain, for a 2nd consecutive season, is finishing strong. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Our Toyota League leaders. Top batting averages since August 1st. Only Avisail Garcia of the White Sox has a higher batting average than Lorenzo Cain. Off the plate, Escobar throws on the run, too late. And for Lorenzo Cain, that is base hit number 152 this year.
Yeah, Locane, he's excellent at infield hits. He hits this right off the plate. You can see it bounces like a super ball. Escobar, good practice, but you can put that in your pocket. That's what I like to call a pocket ball. Ain't no way you're going to throw him out on that. 20th infield knock. Beautiful thing, if you have speed, that really helps your batting average. Some hitters that don't have that blazing speed, they got to hit all of theirs. Sometimes you run a quarter of it.
Here's another Royal who had a fine road trip. Melky Cabrera hit .391. He drove in 6. And the Milkmen are here with shades on.
Like the look, though. It's going to get, and he might need some earplugs. Like to see it get loud or hear it get loud.
He's had a tough time with Kyle Gibson, and maybe that's why some hitters just don't pick up the sinker and think they have a fastball at the knees or higher. By the time they unload, it is almost down in the dirt like that last one. Castro calls for another fastball. That one stayed up, and Gibson gets a pop-up. So he got away with a mistake, and Buxton brings it down for the second out.
There's the one you want to see up right there. You got to look it up a little bit above. He knows right away. He got up underneath it. Yeah.
If Gibson's on, you can probably count on one hand how many pitches like that you're going to see.
Yep. And his last time is the best I've ever seen him in the time I've been up here. 81 pitches, 58 strikes. He was good. But that's past now. Royals are in the playoff game here. First one of 4 against the Twins. Got to execute and get the hits when they need them.
Sinker ball pitchers are typically good to run on, especially Gibson, who's big. He's 6'6", so it takes him a while to get to the plate, and with the pitch down all the time, that makes it harder on the catcher. Hosmer into center field, and Buxton will play it on a bounce. 165 hits for Eric Hosmer this year.
See him up. Ball's up in the zone. Doesn't matter if it's in or out, but this one here, it jammed him. It doesn't matter. Good level swing, and to put that ball in play in the middle of the field. Very nice.
And now Salvador Perez with 2 on 2 out. Salvi hit 2 home runs last night. His career high 23rd and 24th. Down around the end of the bat on a first pitch breaking ball, and Rosario makes the catch. So both teams strand 2 in the first inning. No score. Big story involves 2 teams. Cleveland Indians have won 14 in a row. The Arizona Diamondbacks have won 13 in a row. This is the first time in Major League history that 2 teams have had winning streaks that long at the same time. For Cleveland, it's their 2nd consecutive season with a 14-game winning streak. The last time that was done by the 1935 Cubs. And before that, the 1913 New York Giants. That's how rare that is.
That's a long time ago. And we get them on our schedule here the rest of the way here. We got 4 with Cleveland, 3 with Arizona.
Max Kepler takes a sinking fastball for a strike. Gaviglio got around second and third and 1 out in the first inning. 1-1 on Kepler.
That was huge to build his confidence.
One ball, one strike. Well, you know, this is a big game for the Royals, obviously, but it's a big game for Gaviglio. I mean, he gets to the big leagues as a 27-year-old, and then he is waived the first year. So there's a lot of personal incentive for him tonight. Woo! 3-2. He got off to a good start with Seattle. They had injuries in their rotation, and in his first 9 starts, his numbers were really good. 3.44 ERA, 243 opponent's batting average. That's to the hole on the right side. Kepler is out on a ground ball to second. So Gaviglio struggled in his final 2 starts with Seattle, and then some of their starters were coming back from the disabled list, and that's when he was waived.
If he was throwing 95 to 97 miles an hour, they wouldn't have waived him. They would have kept him. Teams like guys that can throw the ball by hitters. Just seems. So if you're a sinker baller like Gaviglio, you're going to go say, hey, look, you know, keep my confidence up. I'm going to get another opportunity. I'm going to show him. I'm going to use my defense. And so far with the Royals uniforms, he's doing that. Look at this.
Merrifield throws out Escobar.
This is so far exactly what Ned is hoping for the rest of the game too, is just keeping the ball down, using that defense.
Well, since Danny Duffy went on the disabled list, there have been 2 starters who have pitched in his place, and those 2 didn't go very well.
Nope. That's a lot of pitches.
Jason Castro. Castro was on the disabled list with a concussion. He was activated on Sunday but did not appear in the Royals Twins series. That's a swing, and it's 0-2. Salvi says, get this pitch down, and he does. Castro doesn't bother running, so as soon as he hits the grass, he's out. He's out. That's a 10-pitch 1-2-3 second inning, and the so-called non-strikeout pitcher has 3 in the first 2 innings.
Very nice.
night up here with the Twins at Kauffman Stadium. And Joel Goldberg back at the K. Good to be home. And for Moose, good to be back in the lineup, because last night in Detroit, he re-aggravated that knee that had been bothering him last month. The good news is that he's in at DH. And while he wasn't able to play third, he did lobby Ned Yost to play third. And Ned said, "No, we're just going to put you in there," because it looked awfully painful last night. And guys, I talked to Moose today, and I asked him, was it as bad as last time? Because he sat 2 days last month after hurting it. And he said, no, it's not as bad. And I said, how much, though, is the situation? And he said, equal parts not as bad and crucial game to be playing in. He's not getting out of this lineup if he can help it.
And just what he needed to get hit on the leg by a pitch.
Did you see that? He kind of, Gibson said, I didn't mean to do it. Moose looked at him with a kind of a scowl-like look. Said, "No, give me a cookie next time."
Leadoff man on for Alcides Escobar. Esky had 4 hits last night, and he hit .450 on the trip. Fastball at 93 with some movement. Had a chance for a cycle. He had everything but a home run last night, and the 4th hit was a single to center field. And he was on with Steve Stewart on the radio side after the game, and Steve asked him if he was thinking about the cycle, and he was going for it in his last at bat. And his answer was bleep yes.
Really? That's not like Esky.
Well, it wasn't anything that was
he's excited.
Offensive, but
yeah. No. I talked to him today, and he says, you know, here in game 139, I feel the best I've felt all year. How about that? That's pretty good. I mean, we all know he's an Iron Man, though.
Still keeps adding to his batting average, which again is hard to do this time of year, especially if you're an everyday player. I mean, just to get to 221 was an accomplishment for him, and now from 221 to 243. Two and two.
Main thing is, it says he's swinging at his pitch, not the pitcher's. I'm getting my pitch. That's good. It's evident right there. He looked like that was cut. He knew what was coming, and that was going to be a ball. He likes Gibson.
Polanco charges, flips. No double play, but that was impressive. And I think Polanco recognized, Hud, that if they had any chance for a double play, that's what he was going to have to do.
Oh, and that's the pitch that Gibson used on the Royals the last time out. Yeah, couldn't get him. The changeup, have him out front, rolling over. It's a good thing that Moose didn't continue his slide into the base, because Polanco rolled right into the sliding path. It's a little bit unusual, wasn't that? A little flip like that. And he rolled into the bag.
1 on 1 out for Alex. You can speak to this because you played a lot of second base. You watch that play, and it's easy to marvel at what Polanco did, but the second baseman has to be ready for that. And Dozier was ready for it. I mean, there was no surprise at all, and he made a quick turn.
Yeah, that's why it helps it when you work together a lot during the course of the season this year. They know each other inside out.
Broken bat. Buxton will make the play in center field. 2 down. Next year will be the 50th year of Royals baseball going back to 1969, and in between innings they unveiled the logo for 2018 after 1 year with no baseball in '68. After the A's went to Oakland, the Royals began in 1969. It was also the first year for Denny Matthews, so he will be celebrating his 50th year with the Royals next year.
That's awesome.
With the retirement of Vin Scully, who broadcast the Dodgers for 67 years, Denny is the second longest active broadcaster in the major leagues, behind Jaime Jarrín, who is the Spanish broadcaster for the Dodgers. Fouled away by Ramon Torres. And when we were at Dodger Stadium right before the All-Star break, Denny and Jaime did an interview together with Joel, and they got a picture together.
Awesome.
Ramon Torres is playing at third base, which was a surprise last night when he came on for Mike Moustakas instead of Chesler Cuthbert, but we've learned that Chesler's not feeling well. So Torres came in last night and gets the start tonight. And now Escobar got caught, and he's able to get back to first, but Joe West is going to say that he came off the bag. Joe Mauer, the first baseman, Minnesota first baseman, is not running off the field. Almost as if he's expecting this to change.
How about that? Esky, he got a jump, but he says, uh-oh, he put the brakes back on. Now, see, his foot and his shin is all still on the base. I don't know.
Okay, on the base, on the base. Joe West was right there. There was a close play in the top of the first inning, and Eric Hosmer ran off the field. That told me that he knew that it would go the Royals' way. Joe Mauer just kind of lingered around first base, but now the Royals have decided that they will not challenge, and maybe just enough right there where Escobar came off the bag. And that's how the bottom of the second comes to an end. And the American Forces Network, now in its 75th year of broadcasting to American military personnel overseas in more than 170 countries and naval ships at sea. We welcome you to Kauffman Stadium for the Royals and the Minnesota Twins. And as always, we thank you for your service. We hope you enjoy the broadcast tonight.
Absolutely.
Robbie Grossman, recently off the disabled list. Another ground ball. Merrifield backhands. Witt has been busy. He has handled 3 of the last 4 plays, 3 of the last 4 outs for Gaviglio, who's done a good job of keeping the ball down, with the exception to Jorge Polanco, who doubled. Speaking of our military, coming up on Monday, Fox Sports Kansas City will present a special telecast honoring our armed forces. We call it This One's for You. And that night we'll link up live with soldiers from the 35th Infantry Regiment of the Missouri and Kansas National Guards. This One's for You, coming up on Monday here on Fox Sports Kansas City.
It's going to be a great night. Look forward to sharing with some of the family members and servicemen and women.
One and one on Brian Dozier, who struck out on a slider in the first inning. One and two.
Obviously, by watching the Minnesota Twins swing at that sinker, they're not getting a good look at it. So it's sneaking up on them. Sometimes the hitter will go back to the dugout and say he's sneaky quick. Look at the grip he's showing the hitter right there. It's kind of like a little split finger.
Slider hit on the ground to Torres at third. 2 down in the third.
Check him out. So far, so good. Slider up. Obviously, the fact that there was a little bit of speed taken off it let him hit off the end of the bat, but that was elevated. There it is.
Well, we told you Minnesota's been hitting a ton of home runs since August the 1st. So 0 flyouts. Mauer takes outside. He singled to center field in the first inning.
You know, I've been watching Sam where he's towing. Look where his right foot is. It's right on the far extreme first base side of the rubber.
Kane cuts it off. Mauer's going to dig for 2. Lorenzo a little slow to get to that ball in right center field. Almost as if he wasn't 100% trying to get to it. I noticed when he reached with the infield hit that it took him a long time to decelerate up the right field line.
Yeah, he's probably hurting somewhere. Look at him. See, he's probably giving you 100% of his 90. And I watched him run the base to second base too. He didn't look at 100%. So you know, this time of year they're all playing with something. So Mauer getting his second hit. And getting in scoring position.
Polanco doubled to right in the first inning.
Seven left-handed hitters out of the 9 Minnesota's throwing up there. And I'll tell you what, this is a good matchup for Gaviglio because he's on the far first base side. But what I mean by that now, watch him hit. That's an angle. He's creating an angle that his sinker is starting at the hitter's knees and it's moving to the outer half of the plate. It's a good angle for his sinker, a little runner.
You mentioned his positioning on the rubber, and visiting with Dave Island about Gaviglio, he saw him pitch on the side, so he had an idea of what he does, and he said, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody as far to the first base side. The rule is you have to be making some sort of contact with the rubber. Sliced up the left field line and foul. And with Minnesota here, it reminds me of Johan Santana, a lefty. He used to be way over on the third base side of the rubber, like Gaviglio's on the first base side.
Now look at him staying on top. Nice follow through. Staying right down and finishing out front. But yeah, his big toe just hanging over there on that side. And that's what that is. That two-seam sinker, it moves across the dish, especially to the lefty. Now he's on the same side against right-handed batters too, but I think it's more effective angle against the left-handed batter. And that's what pitchers say works for them for angles.
Nice big hop for Hosmer. He will take it to the bag himself. Another ground ball out for Sam Gaviglio, and another scoreless inning. On the night of his 70th birthday, Darryl Rodrock decided to dedicate his life to helping and raising awareness for local children in foster care. He started the Darryl Rodrock Foundation, allowing Darryl to reach out and help foster children, specifically those aging out of the system. Darryl is able to share his story of growing up in foster care, gifting the children with school supplies, clothes, and other items to help with their basic needs. And recently, the Darryl Rodrock Foundation has partnered with Dayton Moore and Sporting KC to continue to raise awareness and support for area foster care children. And he is sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at tonight's game.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, that seat separates our ballpark from any other in the world, for sure. To have that, to have these volunteers in our community, what Darryl does for families and young people that don't have a particular family is unbelievable. Way to go.
1-1 on Ramon Torres. He was at the plate when Escobar was caught stealing to end the bottom of the second inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Torres is filling in at third as Mike Moustakas is the designated hitter, and Chesler Cuthbert has been ill the past few days. Two and two. Torres got a couple of at-bats in the Tigers series and was 1 for 2. He was called up earlier this week with Jorge Soler when AAA Omaha's season came to an end. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And I go back to when he was first called up. The report on him was that he was a bit anxious at the plate, but he has been a very patient hitter at the big league level, working another 3-2 count.
I've seen what you've seen. He's able to slow the game down, which a lot of guys that don't get a chance to play every day, it's hard for them to slow the game down. I'm looking at this season. You know, in Omaha, had 295 at-bats. Okay, that's not quite a full season. 86 hits. And 17 steals, so he can run, get on base. He's got some fresh legs.
Broken bat. Dozier, 1 away. Ladies, we hope to see you at the ballpark tomorrow night. It's Girls Night Out, presented by your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. We'll have a fun pregame event with proceeds benefiting the American Heart Association Go Red for Women. And the first 10,000 ladies through the gates receive a Royals Infinity Scarf. You can get those tickets right now at Royals.com. And if you're interested in coming tomorrow, you want to get those tickets right now, because it sounds like we're going to have a nice big crowd here tomorrow for the second game of the series.
Fantastic. Whitley looking to give the crowd something to cheer about right here.
He had a soft line out to Dozier at second base in the first inning.
So I was impressed with watching Whitley from the stands at Comerica Park last night, because I didn't do the game, but I sat in the stands by myself, watched, listened, did listen to all the ballpark sounds of a game, which I never get a chance to do. And I was impressed with Whitley, how he stayed inside of the ball. So I asked him today about last night. What do you think he told me about the ball?
About the ball?
Yeah. I said, man, you looked great last night. I love how he goes, I'm seeing the ball real well now. I said, okay. That's what
So
they
it
all
always
say.
comes down to.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Two and two. He had 3 doubles last night, so I would think he was seeing the ball well. All to the opposite field.
That one right there was nice. Now that went to the deep part of the yard, hit the base of that wall there.
That's a home run in a lot of ballparks.
Mm-hmm.
Rosario, and that ball fooled him. He may have lost sight of it for a moment, but seemed to surprise him as he reached down to the grass to make the play.
Yeah, nice recovery there. Good job. Yeah, he had a hard time picking it up.
Lorenzo Cain reached with an infield single in the first inning, and I noticed that after he beat the throw from the third baseman Escobar, it took him a while to slow down running through the bag, and he wasn't his normal self, trying to run down the 2-out double by Mauer in the third inning.
When you have something going on in your lower half, the deceleration is harder than the acceleration. Slowing down. Now the infield hit, once he started going, he got going, he felt that he knew he's smelling the hit right now. Lots of times your pain leaves you. Now look at him. Yeah, you're right. See, he's trying to run through that right there. And
almost ran into the parking lot.
Yeah, he's got long strides. He gets there quickly. Trying to pull that sinker, you're going to hit a lot of the top of the ball to the left side. If he's got his sinker working, you want to almost think right field with him if you can. React to the mistake up.
Two and two. Dozier's right there, and that's the inning. 3 up, 3 down, and at the end of 3, no score.
Folks, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time. Later tonight's game brought to you by Miller Lite.
This is a calm night so far compared to the 3 games last weekend in Minnesota, where Minnesota was scoring early and the Royals were coming back. At least on Friday and Sunday they did. No score, only 5 combined hits in the first 3 innings tonight. Eddie Rosario was the biggest out for Gaviglio back in the first inning when he struck out. Gaviglio has struck out 3, but Minnesota had runners at second and third and 1 out in the first inning. Gaviglio needed a strikeout and he got it against Rosario, and then he got Buxton to ground out. Kane goes into left center field. That's the first fly ball out for Minnesota tonight. Gaviglio has 6 ground ball outs and 3 strikeouts.
He is pitching extremely well right now. It's very nice to see. Slider to Dozier early, and he's working that slider again, keeping it down, using the infield, and their steady hands there for sure. Look at that, everything below the knees so far. He's missed a couple of times, but they haven't hurt him. As a ground ball, he's attacking the strike zone. Look at his athleticism. He's quick off the mound too. He was able to get over there with no problem. Haas took it for a 3 unassisted, but so far so good.
Strike on Buxton. We were showing you an inning ago the fast start that Gaviglio got to with Seattle, and part of that was because he played in the World Baseball Classic. Let's see, what team did he play for? Gaviglio. Gaviglio.
That's your team.
Yep, Team Italy with Drew Butera. He was the starting pitcher in the game. Remember when Drew and Salvi collided, and we were worried about Salvi having a serious knee injury, but Drew was the designated hitter in that game, so he did not catch Gaviglio. I asked him for a scouting report in Detroit yesterday. He said, "I'm sorry, I can't give you one. I never caught him."
Yeah. I forget about that. Yeah. How interesting was that? Drew Butera coming home to slide into Salvi, his buddy, his own teammate, and kind of wanted to hold up a little bit, but didn't. Unfortunately, didn't hurt him.
Well, Francisco Rodriguez was the guy who messed up the play. He was pitching for Team Venezuela.
I remember.
And he put himself in a bad position, literally. Buxton out to Merrifield. 2 down. Instead of backing up home plate on a throw from the outfield, he was standing in front of home plate. And when he caught the ball as a cutoff man, it just threw off the rhythm. It put Salvi in a position he didn't want to be in. It put Drew in a position he didn't want to be in. So he had an awkward slide. And I mean, the Royals' worst nightmare to see Salvador Perez helped off the field during the World Baseball Classic. And to make matters worse, his own teammate took him out.
Drew's trying to win a job.
Yeah.
We gave him a hard time that spring.
Kepler grounded out to second in the second inning. Gaviglio's great grandparents are from Italy. You're only able to go 2 generations back, but he was able to get by because his parents, his great grandparents, came over here, and his great grandfather never became a citizen. So his grandfather was born to a non-American Italian. If that makes sense. Otherwise, you can only go as far back as your grandparents. Your grandparents have to be born in that country. But for him, it was his great grandparents.
Wow.
But his great grandfather never became a citizen. His great grandmother did. So that was the loophole. And now Kepler is on with 2 down. That's Gaviglio's first walk. Salvador Perez probably come out there and say, hey, don't worry about it. That was a strike.
Yeah, look where that ball run. See how it run? I mean, it ran in. We talked about the angle. He's on the far first base side of the rubber. That was a good example of that pitch there, except it didn't run all the way across the plate. It looked like he had the inside part, but he lucked out on that. That's a good pitch.
Escobar grounded out to Merrifield in the 2nd inning. I imagine the Chiefs just did something because people are cheering here at Kauffman Stadium as Kepler runs. Salvi's throw on a bounce, and Kepler got his left hand in there before the tag. I don't think the crowd was cheering Salvador Perez walking back to the mound after talking to Gaviglio.
No, Kepler with an excellent jump. Good pick by Escobar, or else Kepler could have gone on to third base. If the throw's up and it's running over the bag, they get him. Good try. Salvi's thrown out just right at 20% this season.
And now they're going to talk it over, and it's not a bad idea. This is not just any number 7 hitter at the plate. And Eduardo Escobar has 11 RBIs in his last 5 games. He had 6 RBIs and 2 home runs on Saturday against the Royals. So they want to pitch him carefully with Jason Castro on deck. To left field, right at Alex Gordon, and Sam Gaviglio has 4 scoreless innings in his Royals debut. And Aaron Judge has been a showstopper for most of this year. It's been a struggle for him in the 2nd half, but that's a home run at Baltimore, number 39, to tie him with Oakland's Chris Davis for the American League lead. The Yankees won that game 9-1, so they have a 3-game advantage over Minnesota for the top wild card spot. Minnesota has a half-game advantage over the Angels. And for a day this week, the Angels had a half-game advantage over the Twins. Melky Cabrera flied out to center field in the 1st inning. The Angels are not playing tonight.
Yep, up in Seattle.
2-0. Two and one. Milwaukee frustrated as he was in the first inning. He's had a bad time in his career against Gibson. And the Milkmen ended up with that foul ball. Well, that's a good sign, isn't it?
It sure is. Pilot to Bombardier. Nope, top half of the ball.
Gibson gets to the bag in front of Melky. And now Eric Hosmer with one out. He's singled to center field in the first inning. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Eric Hosmer, among AL Central players, has the second best batting average in his division. He also has 12 home runs and the second best OPS in his division. So you could look at that a couple of ways. Number one, you could say, well, sure, he's familiar with all these pitchers. But the other side of that is you could say, well, all these pitchers are familiar with him. I mean, they would know his strengths and weaknesses better than any other division in the major leagues, and yet he's wearing them out.
Yep. They try to execute their pitch and they make mistakes. Just Haas hasn't been missing them. Whenever you run up against the pitcher who's on and he hits all of his spots, you don't hit. It's that simple. It's hard to. The guy's on top of his game. That base hit Haas got last time up made him 10 for 38 in his career against Gibson.
Three and 0. Salvador Perez is on deck. Gibson has not walked a batter. He has hit a batter. And there's his first walk. 1 on, 1 out. Salvador Perez jumped on a first pitch breaking ball with 2 on and 2 out in the first inning and flied to left. He had a little better luck last night in Detroit, hitting a couple of home runs. Our Kubota Power Stats. Salvador Perez ties an American League record with Jim Thome, 6 consecutive seasons with more home runs than the year before.
I mean, the sky's the limit for Salvi. He gets better and better each year at recognizing his pitches. The pitch that he can hit a homer. Now, that's the first time I'd seen him go to dead right field last night. That's a good park to do it in Comerica. Ball flies out to that park, but still, nice swing. He caught a ball up and away, went with it.
Dozier out at second, double play, and he had to readjust when that ball hit the side of the mound. So that was very close to maybe second and third and 1 out.
Just another lane ball for Gibson. Gibson 20.
inning, game 1 of 4 between the Royals and the Twins. Tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday night, and on Saturday night, the first 10,000 fans through the gates receive a Royals sweatshirt blanket presented by Farmland. The blanket is made with soft sweatshirt material and is perfect for the cooler autumn months. Royals.com, an area price chopper location, or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. And then the series concludes on Sunday afternoon. Sam Gaviglio has held Minnesota to no runs, 3 hits in the first 4 innings. They'll get Castro, Grossman, and Dozier in the 5th.
How about that manageable pitch count? 53rd just thrown.
Castro struck out on a breaking ball in the 2nd inning. Now he hits it hard, but Witt runs it down at the hole on the right side. He's been the busiest of all Royals. That's the 5th ground ball that he's handled. And for Gaviglio, that is his 8th ground ball out.
Yeah, not surprised, because all of the 7 batters from the left side of the plate tonight that Molitor's got in his lineup. So you got a sinker baller. You got these guys trying to pull the ball. That means the right side's going to get most of the work. Beautiful job. And they're looking for it. I like his tempo. Sam Gaviglio, very nice tempo. He looks under control. Doesn't look like he's forcing anything. He looks like a confident guy who's been in the rotation all year.
There's a changeup. We haven't seen many of those tonight. Grossman was out in front. He grounded out to Merrifield in the 3rd inning. Perfect spot.
Okay, there it is. That's the angle I'm talking about. That ball's starting in and going away. That's a strike right there. Good pitch. Gaviglio not flustered one bit about that.
Full count. Brian Dozier is on deck. Gaviglio takes a little stroll behind the mound to think things through before he picks up the sign from Salvi. He's had a lot of success with that slider tonight, and that one is belted to right field. Minnesota takes a 1-0 lead on a home run to right field by Robbie Grossman, his 9th of the year.
Grossman, he looked like he knew it was coming, and that's the 2nd time that I believe he's left his slider up, and Dozier hit a ground ball to the 3rd baseman. We talked about how he got away with that. Well, this one here he didn't get away with.
Grossman is just back from the disabled list. He had been out with a broken thumb. Ball 1 on Dozier. Grossman fractured his left thumb in the middle of August after colliding with his own teammate Byron Buxton. 2-0 on Dozier. He is struck out and grounded out to 3rd. So home runs have been an issue for Gaviglio. That's the 16th he's given up in 66 innings, and at least 1 in 11 of his first 13 major league games. Dozier chops it out to Torres. 2 down.
Hey, calling all yogis. Join the Royals for the 3rd annual Yoga Day on Sunday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. This theme ticket package includes a pregame 1-hour yoga practice on the outfield grass, the Royals themed yoga mat, and a light breakfast at Rivals. You'll also have a ticket to watch the Royals take on the Twins for that afternoon's game. Purchase your theme ticket today at royals.com/theme tickets. It's a big hit, especially with the weather. How nice it's supposed to be on Sunday, man. Come on out. Let's pack out the outfield.
It'll be sunny and 82 for a high on Sunday.
Man.
Much cooler than that before the game.
Yoga, I like to do those 105. So it's not going to get up there. Thankfully, we're not having that kind of heat here. But how about that weather we've been getting? And his whole homestand is going to be perfect.
Joe Mauer has singled to center, and he has doubled to center. 3-0 with Polanco on deck. Did used to be a big deal when Joe Mauer was hitting over 300 this late in the season, but you actually have to go back 4 years since he has hit 300 this late in the year. He is on with a walk. That is Gaviglio's second.
Salvi looked a little disappointed. Tried to catch the corner. Mauer's 58th walk on the season.
His pitch count isn't high, but now the Twins are seeing him for the 3rd time tonight. Remember, they faced him back in June, so he's not a big surprise to them. Now Polanco with a runner at first, 2 down. Curveball is low. Polanco is thinking about dropping down a bunt. He doubled in the 1st inning, putting runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Gaviglio pitched out of that, and then he grounded to 1st in the 3rd. Two and 0. So Minnesota's offense took off August 1st, and there are some hitters you would suspect would be in the middle of that, and then there was a surprise in Jorge Polanco. He had the second most extra base hits of anybody in the American League since August 1st. So that's why Paul Molitor, with Miguel Sano out, has him batting 3rd. If you had told Paul Molitor early in the season Jorge Polanco is going to be batting 3rd for you in September, I would imagine his first reaction would be that that is not a good thing. That maybe 3 or 4 other guys were hurt. But he's hitting like a number 3 hitter, and now Gaviglio suddenly is having a tough time throwing strikes after walking Mauer on 4 straight. He has missed with 7 in a row, and a phone call goes out to the Royals bullpen.
Got to get back in that zone. Get back in this count here.
Back-to-back 4-pitch walks. And now Dave Island is going to go out there and on one hand have a chat, and on the other hand buy some time for Peter Moylan, who's just starting to loosen up. Tonight is a Gordo Nation for only $35. Fans out in left field received a Charlie Hustle brand t-shirt, an Alex Gordon big head, and a ticket to the game. If you're interested, go to royals.com/theme tickets. There is one Gordo Nation left, and that is September 28th against the Tigers. And now Scott Alexander joins Peter Moylan out in the Royals bullpen. 2 on, 2 out to Eddie Rosario. Skips away from Salvi, but no advance. And now Gaviglio has missed with 9 straight. You figure Moylan could be ready for Buxton, who's on deck. So this is a big matchup.
Yeah, and Gaviglio doesn't want to let this nice outing get away from him here. Let's get back in there. Pitch to contact down.
Here's a strike, 1-1. And that's outside. Since Grossman's home run, which was on a 3-2 slider, Gaviglio has thrown 2 strikes out of his last 14 pitches.
Yeah, now he's missed, some of them way out of the zone, but a lot of them have been close, been borderline, and you want to keep him out of the middle. Go. Good spot there. It's not exactly like Chris Siegel doesn't have a huge zone. It's been pretty tight, but slider on the outer half there. That's a good spot. Leave that slider up over the middle like he did to Grossman.
Got him to chase one up. Still 2-2. With 2 down, Mauer walked and then Polanco walked. And Rosario pops it up. Torres with Mauer running around him makes the play. So Gaviglio hangs in there. He gives up the home run to Grossman, and Minnesota takes a 1-0 lead. that's usually the sign that he's done. And for a guy who hadn't made a big league start since the middle of July, 1 run in 5 innings, the Royals will gladly accept that.
Believe it, especially against a team like the Twins. That's right.
Mike Moustakas to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. A little pop up behind the mound. And that's Polanco, the shortstop, over on the right side. Moustakas was hit by a pitch his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Let's go down to Joel.
All right, guys, a lot going on in the world of Mother Nature. Royals Charities has contributed $10,000 to both the American Red Cross and Heart to Heart International to support families impacted by recent hurricane disasters. Fans are encouraged to bring monetary donations to Kauffman Stadium during this homestand through September 13th to help those affected. Fans can also donate online at youcaring.com/MLB supports. Earlier in the week, I was telling you guys about some of the Florida residents like Eric Hosmer and their families. I talked to a bunch of the Royals players from the Dominican Republic today because Hurricane Irma was heading towards and through the Dominican today. Talked to Ramon Torres, Jorge Bonifacio, Raul Mondesi Jr. and Kelvin Herrera. All said that their families who they talked to, each one of them today, are fine, that they ended up being lucky, no damage at all as the storm went through. And talking to Kelvin Herrera, he was really concerned. He talked to his parents today, said they were expecting the worst, but it just ended up being a storm coming through, and that's it. So they are all okay as the storm moves on.
Thank you for that update, Joel, as Alcides Escobar is into second base with a 1-out double. And the tying runs in scoring position. 1 away in the 5th.
.28 double leads the team. Esky's been consistent. I love the opposite field approach. Letting the ball travel deep towards the catcher's glove allows the hitter to see the ball longer and open up the field a little bit. Esky feeling good. Like I told you before the game, he said, man, I'm feeling the best I've felt all year long. Good for him.
Alex flied out to center field in the 2nd inning. Fouled away. When you have a 13-2 game, it's hard to start justifying big hits in the game we saw last night, but it was Alex who followed an Escobar double with a double to put the Royals in front 3-2. Royals had a 2-0 lead early, and then the Tigers tied it, and then the Royals are off to the races. On the ground, right side, base hit. Here comes Esky around third. He will score. So Alex does it again. He drives in Escobar. Tonight it ties the game.
Alex pulled it finally and found a hole. Lots of times this year he's been unsuccessful. He's hitting it to the first baseman, but that was perfect. That ball had eyes on it. He'll score Escobar. And that's a beautiful thing. Royals are 25-2 when he drives in a run.
And now Torres. Alex is running, hit and run. So not ideal, but the Royals get Gordon to second base with 2 down as Torres does the job of keeping the ball on the ground and at least far enough away from the middle to prevent a double play.
Yeah, you know what? Great try. Usually, if you're whatever side of the plate you're on, that shortstop will stay on against the right-handed batter. He'll stay at home. Second baseman covers. Left-handed batter hits. Second baseman stays home and the shortstop covers. So Torres almost got it in the hole. Would have been lovely. But now you got a 3-12 hitter up and Whitley with a runner. It's scoring position.
Takes a slider for a strike. He has hit a soft liner to second and a solid line drive to left. Looks like we'll see Scott Alexander in the top of the 6th inning. One and one.
Twins got good arms in the outfield. Kepler's got 6 outfield assists this year. Buxton in center, he has a cannon. Now he's got 6 outfield assists. It's hard to throw guys out from center. Rosario's got a good arm in left. He has 4 outfield assists.
Off speed, 1 and 2.
That's the pitch there that Whitley was telling me before the game. Gibson was successful in the last time he faced him out there at Target Field. Said he used the changeup a lot more than they said he would. Those are some of the adjustments that a sinker ball pitcher will use to get him off the sinker.
Stopped by Castro, 2 and 2. King Richard going to the rally mantis on his crown, realizing how important this series is.
No doubt about it.
Still 2 and 2. With 1 out, Escobar doubled, then Gordon singled in Escobar. Sorry, Hud.
That's okay. Look, I'm just going to show him in the outfield. They believe he's going to go to the opposite field in the outfield. Now the infield, they're pulled over here on the left side. So infield to pole, outfield opposite field. Whitley hits it where it's pitched. They're taking a gamble.
And they're shallow in the outfield.
They are.
Witt's been hitting a lot of gaps lately. There's a base hit right field. Alex will be waved home on Kepler. Kepler's throw is in time, but the ball got away from Castro. And Merrifield goes to third. Two to 1 Royals in the bottom of the 5th.
Whitley again can add to that 312 average with a runner in scoring position. Slider stayed on the outer half. Whitley recognized it. Waited till the ball traveled deep and got it knocked to left. Excuse me, to right field. Now you can see Kepler had the ball before Alex even got to third base. Perfect throw on the third base side, except Castro forgot one thing: hold on to the ball.
And I think for a moment Alex thought he was out.
Yeah,
he had to be told to go back to home plate. Lorenzo Cain, hey, go back to home.
Yeah, and you know, it looks like that was a tough landing for Alex, but Kepler with a good throw on the third base side of home plate. That's the key.
Cain breaks his bat, and Polanco makes a play at short. Gordon drives in a run. Merrifield drives in a run, and we go to the 6th with the Royals in front. is a good luck charm. When he drives in a run, the Royals are 25-2 this year, and he drove in a run in the Royals' 2-run bottom of the 5th inning. Drove in the tying run. He scored the go-ahead run. We have a full day of college football and Royals baseball coming up on Saturday here on Fox Sports Kansas City and Fox Sports Kansas City Plus. The action kicks off with K-State taking on Charlotte at 11. That's here on Fox Sports Kansas City. KU takes on Central Michigan at 3 p.m. on Fox Sports Kansas City Plus. And then the day wraps up with the Royals and the Twins. Our coverage begins at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Scott Alexander is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Royals lead 2-1 in the 6th inning.
It's got nice numbers, that's for sure. Alexander, he's not a strikeout pitcher, but he has strikeout stuff with just one pitch. That's right, sinker.
Buxton elevates it, but he hit it off the end of the bat. 1 pitch, 1 out for Alexander. On Monday in Detroit, Alexander got his 3rd 1-out save of the season. 3 saves where he got only 1 out. And he's the first Royal to have 3 1-out saves in a season since 1979, and 2 Royals did it that year. Al Raboski,
all right,
now a broadcaster for the Cardinals, and Royals Hall of Famer Dan Quisenberry. He had 3. There's a strike to Max Kepler.
He will throw a slider, and when he does, it's always against a left-handed batter. Goes away. It's good. It's a good pitch too. Really, 2-pitch guy against a lefty.
One and one on Kepler. One ball and 2 strikes. This would be the equivalent of really working over Scott Alexander when you see 3 pitches in 1 at bat.
Exactly.
The way he's been going, 1 or 2 pitches.
Yeah.
Getting a decision. Here's an Alexander ground ball. Being thrown into the fire in those 3 games where he had to come in the middle of the 9th. I was talking to him about that in Detroit, and I asked him, what did you learn from that game in LA? Remember in LA he got into trouble and was walking hitters, and the Royals ended up losing the game
Against the Dodgers.
Yep.
Yep.
And he said, you know, what I learned was how to warm up, focusing more on his mechanics than so-called getting his arm loose. He warmed up about 3 or 4 times in that game, and when he got to the mound, he said he felt great, but his mechanics were off. So now when he warms up, he's thinking more about his mechanics than so-called loosening up his arm. And twice he's come in because of an injury, the 2 times for Herrera, and you get all the time you need. And he said it wasn't about how my arm felt. I told them I was ready when I felt my mechanics were right.
Right. You know, for a sinker baller, think about it. It might be even more important than a guy with a 4-pitch mix, because that's his 1 pitch. It's got to work, and when it doesn't, it's elevated and it gets hit. So stay on top and work the shoulder north and south towards the catcher's glove. Keep it simple, but interesting how he's learning in his first full year in the big leagues.
His arm might feel like $1 million, but if his mechanics aren't right, that ball's not going to sink like he wants it to.
I love Salvi's visuals, his targets he's given. He's doing a nice job behind the plate tonight.
Alexander gets the job done. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 6th.
Earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. There we go. Escobar with 1 out got it started. Nice little double. His team leading 28th double, by the way. Whitley now. Alex knocked him in. Whitley picks up the next ribby. Here it comes. The throw at the plate was in time, but Castro couldn't hold on. Hang with him. Crowd here at the K getting excited, getting into the game. Look at that. They want the heart sign. Give us a heart. Can you show us the heart, please? Yes. They're feeling better about each other now. They got a little lead. Let's see if they can hold it. Add on.
Alexander had a pretty quick top of the 6th inning, so we will see him in the 7th. 1-1 on Melky, who leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Alan Page from Olathe. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Alan wins $200. There's a base hit right field for Melky Cabrera, who otherwise has had a bad time in his career against Gibson. And that is just the 2nd time tonight the Royals have had their leadoff man on.
Alan Page.
It's not a big name in Kansas City, but that's a big name in Minnesota.
Sure is. I saw him in the newspaper there when we were just there last week. He said, I don't know if he's still a Supreme Court justice or not, but I saw him in there, and he has a I think they were naming a building after him or something. I saw him in the newspaper. Good work after his career. A guy like that I look up to. That's impressive.
Alan Page played football at Notre Dame. Then he played mostly for the Vikings and was in the NFL Hall of Fame. But his life really took off when he went to the University of Minnesota Law School. What are you looking at? Then became a judge, and then, as you said, was in the Minnesota Supreme Court.
And then I was reading the article in their newspaper about they named a middle school after him. Congratulations.
That's a heck of a life.
No question it is. But let's get this Alan Page some cake.
Hosmer is singled and he is walked.
What's the money at now? I know we've been hit
$200 for a home run,
All
25 grand for a grand slam.
Okay. Haas never has homered off of Gibson.
Lined into right field. That pitch was up. Hosmer got on top of it. Melky stops at second. Hosmer's on for the 3rd time tonight. 2 on, nobody out.
Haas is known for his opposite field hitting, but man, he attacked this ball with that top end. It rolled over the top. Watch this. Oh yeah, look at that top end. He just top hand that baby. Ooh, good level swing. See, that's called pulling the ball there. You don't see him do that a whole lot. But watch the rollover right here. See the top end? Contact, rolls right over the top, stays on it. Beautiful swing. Gibson saying, uh-oh, here come those pesky Royals.
Salvi is 0 for 2 against Gibson, including grounding into a double play to end the 4th inning. And you know that's what Gibson is thinking about here. He's starting to get the ball up. Paul Molitor recognizes that. Buznitz and Boschiers are warming up in the bullpen. And Gibson, that has been his escape hatch over the past 3 seasons. Ground balls and double plays. Although there was some luck involved when he got the double play in the 4th. 1 ball and 1 strike. Salvi hit a shot. It was not a ground ball double play. He hit a shot off the side of the mound and it kicked to the right to Dozier. So only 3 other pitchers have more ground ball double plays in the major leagues than Kyle Gibson going back to 2015.
Okay, Salvi's got to concentrate. He can't afford to be swinging at those pitches there that are out of the zone. Concentrate, look him up, and stay short with the swing. He's got plenty of power, obviously.
pitch he could elevate. Not very deep. Buxton can really throw. So 1 out and no advance. And now Mike Moustakas with 2 on 1 out.
Perfect time for a Moose bomb.
Which would be best case scenario? I got to tell you though, I've been really impressed with that record on the line for Mike Moustakas. How unselfish he has been at the plate lately, with as many base hits as he has gotten to left field and to center field.
I agree. He's not just up there flailing and bailing trying to pull everything. He's competing in his at bats. Likes to swing early. Last time up, he popped up the first pitch.
A little bit inside, ball 1.
So they've been trying to get him in there to tie him up, but when you pitch in there, you better be careful. But you make one mistake, he'll turn and burn on it. 3-run homer would be luscious right now.
Changeup. 1-1.
See again how he released that and turned that ball over and it just sunk like that. That's taking something off the ball. 85, excellent with some movement going downing away from the lefty. Perfectly located.
Gibson's been trying to tie him up all night. He got Moustakas to break his bat on a pop-up to short in the 5th inning, and then he hit Moustakas, pitching him inside back in the 2nd. So he's doing everything he can, Gibson is, to keep Moustakas from getting those arms extended. Three and 1.
Yeah, Gibson, he's going to be real careful here, I guarantee it. But watching Moose, no wonder he didn't want to DH tonight. You know, he tried to talk Ned into letting him play third base, because as a career as a designated hitter, he's only hit 203. Very difficult job if you're not used to DHing only. This is this season. 4 home runs. He can definitely swing it, so he's got to be careful. Gibson does with this location here. Got Escobar on deck. He'd much rather pitch to him than Moose.
Change up again, riding away from Moustakas. You can just feel the anticipation every time he comes to the plate. The fans know where he stands right now in the Royals record book. And before that 3-1 pitch, they were chanting his name.
264 hitter with a runner in scoring position. If he wants to give him a single to left, take it.
And now they're going to talk it over. Gibson allowed no runs, 2 hits in the first 4 innings. And now the Royals have 2 runs, 5 hits in less than 2 innings, an inning and a third. Cabrera's at second, Hosmer's at first with 1 out. Grounded. Dozier backhands, and the Twins will get another double play. That's what Gibson needed. The Royals had 2 on and nobody out, and come up empty in the bottom of the 6th. Baseball is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Thoroughbred Ford. Every day there's a great deal waiting for you at Thoroughbred Ford. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all or less. 2-1 Royals. Minnesota bats in the 7th inning. Scott Alexander pitched the 6th and got a fly out, ground out, and strikeout in relief of Sam Gaviglio. Kyle Gibson has given up 2 runs, 7 hits in his 6 innings. Castro takes outside, ball 1 against Gaviglio. Castro struck out and grounded out to second. If the Royals bullpen can hold it, Sam Gaviglio is the pitcher of record. 1-1.
Been very impressed with Salvador. Obviously, he's feeling better, but watch his framing ability. This is great. Look at that. See how he just catches it and puts his glove straight down like that? That got him a strike. This one there, look at how it's swing and miss, but still he's really manipulating the outside part of the plate, which really helps the umpire and get the call to you. And watching him, he's been looking good back there. Everything he's trying to make look good around the strike zone.
People ask, what does framing pitches mean? And if the strike zone is a frame, you're taking pitches that are outside the frame and pulling them in, convincing the umpire it's a strike.
Or just making it look good by turning your glove.
Castro on a 2-1 pitch, singles to center field. Speaking of Salvi, sign up for the Sweet Life with Salvi. Enter to win at royals.com/Salvi for a private meet and greet with Salvador Perez. You'll attend batting practice and get an exclusive VIP suite experience at the game here on September 28th. Compliments of Price Chopper. Minor and Moylan are loosening up in the Royals bullpen. Robbie Grossman, as a left-hand batter, drove in Minnesota's run with a home run to right against Gaviglio. That was the only run Minnesota scored against Sam Gaviglio in 5 innings. Ground ball, 1 hop to Torres. Out at second. Quick turn. And that is number 12 this year with Alexander on the mound.
And just in 57 2/3 innings coming into this game, that's impressive. Roll it over. He's got a bowling ball sinker. That's right, a worm burner. Torres, quick hands, got it over to Whitley. Whitley with a good feed, went across the base to get it from Torres. Watch Whitley come and get it. That's right. Come on this side of the bag. You get the ball there quicker to first.
And with the Royals turning a McDouble play tomorrow, McDouble sandwiches are only $1. That's at participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence locations. Alexander gets 5 outs tonight. He will depart, and Peter Moylan will come on in a Chevy call to the bullpen to face Brian Dozier with 2 down in the 7th inning.
Scotty boy. This first game of 4, it's an important game, and Scotty Boy Alexander is doing a heck of a job. Tell you what, coming in like that, his numbers are good. He's throwing strikes, he's keeping the ball at his knees, he is working it. Ground ball, double play after ground ball. Let's go. 59 in the 3rd innings. He's induced 12 ground ball double plays. Man, that is tops. And fantastic job by Alexander, who's getting the job done. Now Moreland, he's the same kind of guy, sinker slider. He's able to work the lefties and the righties. Now righties at 161 is the reason why Ned came and got him. Got Alexander so Moreland could get Dozier right here to get this 3rd out.
He is 0 for 3 tonight. All 3 at bats were against Gaviglio. 2 ground balls to 3rd and a strikeout. Just low. Salvi tried to pull it up in the strike zone. 1-1. Or was it low?
Good spot. Down there, it's a ground ball. It's going to make him lift it.
1-2. Dozier is 1 out of 7 in the past against Moylan with a couple of strikeouts. Maurer is on deck, and Minor continues to work in the bullpen, so this is most likely Moylan's only hitter. Out into right center field. Lorenzo Cain is there, and if it was his only hitter, that's 11 consecutive scoreless appearances for Peter Moylan. Gaviglio, Scott Alexander, and Peter Moylan have given up 1 run, 5 hits in 7 innings. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is back with better picture quality than ever before. Watch every out-of-market game live at home, in the office, or on the go. Blackout restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Our signs are outstanding. Best in the league.
Gibson stays on for the 7th. With 1 out in the 5th, Alcides Escobar doubled. Alex Gordon drove him home to tie the game at 1. And with 2 outs, Merrifield got Gordon to the plate to put the Royals in front 2-1. Heskey didn't like that call.
Heskey's locked in right now. I don't blame him. That's off the plate.
Royals had Gibson on the ropes in the 6th inning. He gave up base hits to Cabrera and Hosmer, and Paul Molitor had a righty and a lefty up in his bullpen, but Gibson recovered. He got Salvi to fly out to center and got Moustakas to ground into a double play. Gibson's gotten 2 ground ball double plays tonight. On the ground to third, Escobar throws on the run and on the money to get the Royals. Escobar, 1 out in the 7th. Same pitchers are still throwing. Alan Buznitz on the right, Buddy Bashirs, or other way around. Buznitz on the left. Bashirs is warmed up and ready to go and just standing on the right. So he was probably ready to go had Escobar reached and Alex Gordon came to the plate. Over the inside for strike 1. It is Gordo Nation. Alex has driven in the tying run and he has scored the go-ahead run tonight.
Clever with the bubble attached. I like it.
Little bit high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Out over the plate and past Polanco, who was set up perfectly, but that ball was whistled into center. And Alex is on with 1 out, much to the delight of Gordo Nation in the left field corner.
There he got one right out of the plate, man. There you go. And Gibson, ooh, that's a little chuck and duck right there. That ball was not walking. The ball was hit squarely.
Ramon Torres is 0 for 2, 2 ground outs. His second ground out was on a hit and run, which helped set up the Royals' second run. Let's see if the Royals try that again. It came with Gordon at first and 1 out in the 5th inning. And now Gordon's at first with 1 out in the 7th inning. Not running. And Torres takes high, ball 1. Got that call. Torres thought it was high, probably wondering that one was a strike and the other one wasn't.
Yeah, that's out of the zone there. So now all of a sudden Chris Siegel, he had a tight zone early in the game. Listen, he's getting an earful over there from that Royals dugout, but he was tight to start. Now he's more liberal on the zone. He's loosening it up. So with 2 strikes now in a situation like this, and you're not sure any borderline pitches, you better be hacking.
Broken bat. Gibson down to second. And that is his third ground ball double play tonight. So he goes 7, giving up just 2 runs, but the Royals lead 2-1. Against Sam Gaviglio, and then the Royals tied it with 1 out in the 5th. Alex Gordon drove in Alcides Escobar, and then Whit Merrifield. Alex Gordon was out right here with contact, but the collision jarred the ball loose. Alex ended up touching home plate. Royals took a 2-1 lead, and that's it. Hud?
Yeah, the ball, you were hoping our hitters would think it looked like the moon, as big as the moon, but it hasn't. We do have 8 hits, though, and all it's about's a W. So just hold her tight here. Let's see if Mike Minor can be major.
He did not pitch in the just completed Royals-Tigers series. He last pitched against Minnesota on Sunday, coming on in the 8th inning in a 1-run game. And here he is in the 8th inning in a 1-run game. And he'll get Mauer, Polanco, and Rosario. Outside to Mauer, who has singled, doubled, and walked.
You have an ERA of 2.86 in today's modern game, you're good. All season he's been here. 66 innings coming in. It's a fantastic job. 75 strikeouts because he's got good stuff. Look at that slider. Beauty. Fastball, slider, changeup. Right where he wants to execute this. Look at, he's on the side of the ball. Little slider to one of the best hitters in baseball. Plenty of the plate there, but in the outer half.
Long run for Whit, and it's under his glove and into right field. So Joe Mauer is on for the 4th time. And Minnesota has the tying run at first base with nobody out. Time for our T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. And the Cleveland Indians, they just keep rolling along. They lead Chicago 8-2 in the 7th inning. Edwin Encarnacion hit a 3-run home run in the 1st. Corey Kluber has his 14th double-digit strikeout game. Anthony Rizzo reaches 100 RBIs for a 3rd straight season, as Polanco takes a big rip and fouls it back. Cleveland had an 11-game lead in the Central when the game started tonight. Rizzo, Chicago Cubs, they have a 4-game lead over St. Louis in the National League Central. Now a bunt in the air, and Minor gets Polanco. Mauer's at second base with 1 out.
Polanco can do it either side of the plate. You know, a shortstop that knows how to handle the bunt. Didn't exactly want to air it like that, but still got a little backspin on it, did the job, moved the runner. Minor under control, got the out.
Polanco got the job done, but if I'm Paul Molitor, I want him swinging the bat the way he's going right now.
Well, what are you going to do when he did it on his own? I'm sure they didn't put the sack bunt down. I've watched him. That's part of, if you're hitting in the third in the order, you don't, your manager doesn't put you there to bunt. If you're hitting eighth or ninth in the order, maybe. He used to hit down there, so maybe Molly has a little talk with him.
That's a big number tonight, an important number tonight. It's 0-2 on Rosario. He is 0 for 3. And his next hit against Mike Minor will be his first. One ball and 2 strikes. He is 0 for 7 now against Mike Minor. So you got one guy, Hud, Polanco, who has the second most extra base hits in the American League since August 1st, putting down a bunt, turning it over to Rosario, who is now 2 for his last 22.
Yep. So, you know, at some particular point, if your manager does not want you to bunt in situations like that when he's got you batting third, which is a run producing spot, he'll have to address that himself.
And now they'll talk about what they want to do with Buxton, with an open base and a left-hand batter on deck.
Likes to come in on righties. I mean, he likes to get in there and jam them, and that's what sets up his changeup. It's an extremely effective pitch.
Fastball at 96, right over the inside edge.
Yep, he's been 95, 97 all year. He's ended up being a big reliever for Ned Yost.
Got the corner again. Buxton appeared to be all right with the first strike. That one not so much. One ball, 2 strikes. If he had called that a strike, Buxton, who we hear is a great kid, very calm, he might have come undone.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect pitch. 0-2, that's where you want it. Of course, in the day, they used to back you off the plate on that pitch, on that count situation. Good job here. Outside, inside now. Let's see.
The fans are frustrated because he's not getting calls, but I'm with you. I like the fact that he's, you know, if you're Buxton right now, what are you going to expect?
He's got a look heater, and then we'll see what's the best pitch. Now, that slider that he throws, sometimes it gets a little bit too much to the plate, and that'll speed the batter's bat up. So be careful with that pitch. Now, the changeup, he could show him on the outside part of the plate, but there's no sign now. They went out and talked about it.
Breaking ball pulled to Torres, who backhands, throws low, and Hosmer with a Gold Glove pick.
And to get a speedy runner like that, that was sweet. Torres had to come and get it. You got to come get it. You'll never get him. Look at Hobbs down low, up high. He's got the goal. Sweet pick. Hey, 2-1, bottom of the 8th inning. Mike Minor became major again by hitting his spots. Look at the pitch by pitch to Buxton. Fastballs on the corner, staying out of the middle. That's the key in the big leagues. Look at the hook. Finally, the big change to the eye level slowed him down a little bit. Great play by Torres and a dig by Haas. That was sweet. 2 picks in 1 play into the inning. Mike Minor, fantastic job.
Trevor Hildenberger will get the bottom of the 8th inning, and he'll get the top of the order. Fouled away by Witt, who has the go-ahead RBI. He's 1 for 3, and someday could be the answer to our trivia question, our sprint trivia question. 4 American League second basemen that have had 30 or more doubles, 20 or more home runs, and 30 or more stolen bases in a season. Right now, Whit Merrifield has 27 doubles, 17 home runs, and 27 stolen bases. So he has an excellent shot of becoming the 5th. Who are the first 4?
That's got to be Hall of Fame territory. How about Roberto Alomar?
That's who I was thinking. There's a base hit right field. A good start to the bottom of the 8th. 2-hit Witt.
Trevor knows Hildenberger's a sinker slider guy, so he's going to wait. He sees the hole over there. They're thinking he's going to pull it. Look at that. That's just smart hitting right there. And it's good hitting. Little soft step, that's always important. But look at his head position. Look where the contact is. Contact is right over the plate. That's how you hit the ball to the opposite field. Very nicely done.
How about another one of your go-to guys?
Cano?
Robinson Cano.
All right. How about Joe Morgan?
American League.
Okay.
Right at the bag, and that is double play number 4 for the Minnesota Twins tonight, and their 3rd in the last 3 innings.
Can you believe that? Locaine been hitting the top of the ball, and he's a sinker baller. Hildenberger is right to Dozier, who's waiting there, right at the bag.
Brian Dozier. I didn't think so. Now they were luring us there, but the 30 stolen base part for Dozier.
Yeah, and I don't know if Boston second baseman Petey, I don't know if he has the pop for that.
This one ends. We've got plenty to talk about on Boulevard Royals Live. Joel Goldberg getting ready for the post-game show, along with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and we'll discuss the Royals debut of Sam Gavigliano. What a performance by him tonight. We'll break that down, plus a couple of more hits from Whit Merrifield. That, Ned Yost reaction, Jeff Montgomery analysis, and more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live.
All right, Joel, there's Paulo Orlando taking over in right field. And Kelvin Herrera, who has not pitched since Friday at Minnesota when he had to come out in the middle of the 9th inning after that right wrist tightened up on him. His first save opportunity since then, his first appearance since then, and he'll get Kepler, Escobar, and Castro.
Let's hope everything's okay for Kelvin. He can handle this inning all by himself, I have a feeling, tonight. Strike one is important. There it is. Mid to upper 90s with the fastball. Slider, changeup in the upper 80s.
Oh, and 2 from 96 to 98 with his first 2 fastballs. Base hit center field on an 0-2 pitch that was up and in at 97. So you got to give the hitter some credit. We won't spend a lot of time on our trivia question with the game on the line here.
No, but you got hot in between innings.
Yep. You guessed Roberto Alomar. I said Jose Altuve and Ian Kinsler. Alfonso Soriano, and he did it the most. He did it 3 times.
Forgot all about him.
4 American League second basemen with at least 30 doubles, 20 home runs, and 30 stolen bases. And Whit Merrifield has an excellent shot of joining that list.
Come on, Whitley.
Escobar takes outside. He is 0 for 3. Minnesota got its leadoff man on in the 8th inning against Mike Minor, but he retired the next 3. The bullpen has been a huge factor in games against Minnesota. The Royals have won 6 games against Minnesota, and in those wins, the bullpen's ERA is 1.14. 2-0 on Escobar. The Royals have lost 9 games against Minnesota this year, and in those games the bullpen's ERA is 9.15. Had a good rip. It's 2-1.
Sure did. Herrera's gonna have to be careful with that location. Although Kepler, you can't blame Herrera for that. It's inside right on his hands, and Kepler spanked it up the middle with no problem.
Clearly the Chiefs just did something. I imagine it's a touchdown.
Kepler ripped off his 6th base earlier too. He's only been caught once. I'm a little bit surprised that Kepler is under double digits in steals. He's got good speed. I don't know why he doesn't run more.
.95, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Good spot.
Little less velocity, more movement. See the little 2-seamer. Look at that ball take off and start on the inside part of the plate. Sometimes 98, you know, it's firm, but it's straight. Doesn't have a chance to break it all.
Struck him out.
I don't think Herrera's thrown one secondary pitch. All heaters. Good play. Good off the plate. You got to get him to swing away from it. He knows the heater's coming. Doesn't give a hitter, but about 2 split seconds, 2/10 to see it.
Jason Castro is 1 for 3. He singled with 1 out in the 7th inning against Alexander, and then was rolled up in a double play. Boy, that fastball's got good movement away to left-hand batters.
Sure doesn't. This layoff has been good for him so far, the way it looks in his 9 pitches.
He's done well against Herrera. Sam Gaviglio in his Royals debut went 5. He gave up 1 run. Alexander an inning and 2/3. Moylan 1/3. Minor 1 inning. And now Herrera in the 9th. Castro takes low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tonight's game is the difference between the Royals being a game and a half out in the wild card and 3.5 games out in the wild card. Shallow left field. Escobar, and it drops. It drops fair. And those two might talk about it. It looked like Alex was giving way to Escobar the entire play.
Sure did. And then when the ball went up, Torres, he was looking at Escobar. So everybody was saying, Esky, it's yours. And looks like it's going to find fair territory. Tough play there. You'd expect an out to be made on that play by the Royals defense.
The only thing I can think of is maybe he didn't see it right away.
1 out. Herrera going to have to work for it now.
Zach Granite will run at first base. And now Robbie Grossman, who hit a solo home run in the 5th inning. Fades outside. Grossman's home run was as a left-hand batter in the 5th inning against Gaviglio, and that's Minnesota's only run. He is also grounded into a double play tonight. Kepler's at second. Granite is at first with 1 out. 1-1.
Herrera has induced 3 ground ball double plays. That's usually on the secondary pitches. Slider or the changeup.
Two and 1. And now 3 balls and 1 strike with Dozier on deck. Grossman may have helped him out. And now Brandon Maurer warms up quickly in the Royals bullpen. This is not the first time he has warmed up tonight. Just out of Salvi's glove.
98 up in the zone. There's no feel in that part of the catcher's glove there.
Bases loaded, 1 out.
These are the kind of games right here we talked about before, that this is a 4-game playoff series. There's no question about it. Things going pretty good throughout the game, but now Herrera coming in again, having issues here. It's loaded up, 1 out. Play down the left field line, looked like it could have been caught by a Royals defender. Wasn't. The walk, clean single, that was one thing, but the others can't give it to him.
Dozier is 0 for 4 tonight. 3 at-bats against Gaviglio, 1 at-bat against Moylan. Threw it right by him. The inning began with Kepler down 0-2. He singled. Escobar struck out. And then the pop-up up the left field line, which looked like an out as soon as it was hit, but it dropped, and now the walk to load him up. Dozier, fly ball, left field corner, and Alex makes the play for the second out. That will tie the game, and the other runners move up.
Ooh, man, that ball. Herrera was talking to that, keeping it in the ballpark. Good swing. Not an easy catch either for Alex. There's the first off-speed pitch he threw, and it was elevated. Not a good location.
And now the Royals are going to walk Maurer and set up Herrera and Polanco. Bases loaded, 2 down. Polanco taking all the way, looks at a strike. Mike Minor pitched a scoreless 8th inning. Maurer led off with a single, and then Polanco, who's been one of the best in the American League as far as slugging percentage goes since August the 1st, dropped down a bunt. He got a sacrifice, but that put the game in the hands of Rosario and Buxton, and Minor took care of them. Back through the middle, base hit center field. 2 runs scored. Minnesota leads 4-2.
Twins doing the job here on a pitch that was up. Is that over the plate? Just put it right in the middle. Biggest hole in the diamond. Polanco comes through.
So it's another outing for Kelvin Herrera, where he doesn't get through the 9th. And now it's Brandon Maurer with 2 on and 2 out. And it all started with an 0-2 pitch to Max Kepler. Then a strikeout. This was the big play. Alcides Escobar went way out from short. It dropped for a base hit, then a walk. The sac fly by Dozier, which was very close to a grand slam. That tied the game. An intentional walk to Maurer. And then Jorge Polanco drives in 2, and Minnesota leads 4-2 in the 9th inning. And now Brandon Maurer comes on and throws a strike to Eddie Rosario.
Wow, looking at that play down the left field line again, looks to me like Alex Gordon just backed off and let Escobar take it the whole way.
Oh, 2 on Rosario. Matt Belisle will pitch the bottom of the 9th, and the Royals will have Hosmer, Perez, and Moustakas.
Power 6'6", 230, good fastball. Mid to upper 90s slider change.
Still 0-2. Rosario spoils that slider away. He is 0 for 4 tonight. He's made some big outs. Minnesota had runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out in the 1st inning. Gaviglio struck him out. 2 on, 2 out in the 5th. Rosario fouled out to end the inning. And then after the sac bunt in the 8th, he struck out against Minor. And now a base hit into left field. Maurer will be held. And that ball almost got away from Salvador Perez with nobody backing him up.
Wow, look how far that ball.
Wow.
All those pitches all bunched up off the plate like that. You can't blame Maurer for that. That's excellent hitting. Kidding me? Alex, he looked like he didn't want to throw it. Looked like he's trying to hold up a little bit. Tried to lob it in, and it fortunately didn't get by Salvi.
9 come to the plate in the 9th inning. Fastball strike to Buxton. He is 0 for 4. And he's made a couple of big outs tonight. That's outside. With Mauer at second base and 2 down in the 8th inning, Buxton hit a ground ball to third, and Torres made a nice play on a short hop. He threw to first in the dirt. There's a strike, 1 and 2, and Hosmer made one of his trademark digs. If that gets by him, a run scores to tie the game. Instead, it ended the inning. Buxton also made the final out in the first inning with 2 on. Still 1 and 2. Ooh, man, just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh.
Right where you want to put it.
Joe West says no swing, and it's 3 and 2, and now all the runners will be going.
Looks like that's a good call.
And we'll do it again. Runners go, and Buxton hits it foul near the Royals dugout, and it's back into the crowd. In a game like this, you can focus in on what has gone wrong for the Royals in the 9th inning, and Minnesota coming up with 3. But then you flip over the scorecard and you see 4 double plays for the Minnesota defense tonight. The Royals had more scoring opportunities than the 2-run 5th inning that they had tonight.
Yep.
Buxton strikes out, and that ends the inning, but Minnesota bats 9 and they score 3. So down by 2, it's Hosmer, Perez, and Moustakas coming up. Going into the top of the 9th inning. So the Royals need a big inning of their own here in the bottom of the 9th. Tonight's game is the difference between the Royals moving to a game and a half back of Minnesota or falling to 3.5 back with even more teams to pass. Chris Jimenez will take over for Jason Castro in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Matt Belisle will pitch the bottom of the 9th inning. He is just 5 out of 9 in save opportunities with a 4.53 ERA. Hardly dominating closer numbers.
No, he doesn't have the velocity either. He's 89 to 92 sinker slider change. Let's look him up, see him up. Ooh, like that. Minnesota traded away their closer, Brandon Kinsler.
Hosmer is working on a perfect night. He has 2 singles and a walk. One ball and 1 strike. It was an excellent night for both starters. Sam Gaviglio hadn't started in the big league since the middle of July. He gave up 1 run in 5 innings in his Royals debut. Kyle Gibson from Minnesota gave up 2 runs in his 7 innings, and neither will be part of the final decision. 2-1 on Hosmer.
That's what you need. Get a couple of guys on. Bloop and a blast ties it up.
Right over the outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good take. There wasn't much Hosmer was going to be able to do with that pitch. Back through the middle, and Polanco is right there. Minnesota was stumbling up to the first trading deadline, and I think most people, including their own front office, figured that that fast start would slowly fade away. So nobody really batted an eye around the game when they traded away their closer, Brandon Kinsler, who, by the way, was in his first year as a big league closer. We're not talking about a 3-time All-Star.
Right.
Ball 1 to Salvador Perez, but that's when Minnesota took off, and they ended up with the most wins in the major leagues in the month of August, almost thumbing their nose at their own front office. And now they're 2 outs away from taking a 1-game lead for the second wild card spot. Salvi got jammed. Blanco throws him out, 2 down. They also had just traded for Jaime Garcia, left-hand pitcher from the Braves, and he made 1 good start for Minnesota. And that's right when they were tumbling, so they immediately traded him away to the Yankees. And it would, if you're a Twins fan, it would be a shame if the difference between them making the wild card and not comes down to not having a late inning reliever and coming up 1 starter short.
Yeah, that's what it could be, but still a lot of games to play.
Way outside to Mike Moustakas. He is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. One and 1. Certainly not lost tonight in Minnesota's 4-2 lead in the 9th inning is the 4 double plays they've gotten on defense tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 on 1 out in the 4th. Perez grounded into a double play. 2 on 1 out in the 6th. Moustakas grounded into a double play. 1 on 1 out in the 7th. Torres grounded into a double play. Leadoff man on in the 8th, and the Royals trying to add on. And Kane grounded into a double play. Two and two. Fouled away. So Belisle has 5 saves in his major league career. Before this year, he had 5 saves, and he first got to the big leagues back in 2003, 14 years ago.
Wow.
5 saves in 14 years. 5 saves this year.
Yeah, how about that? Takes good care of himself.
3 and 2. Ed Yost has Mondesi and Gore on the bench.
He's got to get on.
Popped up. Kepler makes the play, and the Minnesota Twins scored 3 in the top of the 9th inning against Kelvin Herrera, and they take game 1 of the series 4-2 as Matt Belisle saves his 6th. Those 2 guys right there drove in the runs. Brian Dozier a sac fly to tie it, and Jorge Polanco with our Honda play of the game.
If he bunts again the rest of the year, I'll be surprised with runners on with that kid can swing the bat. Good stroke. Minnesota, they got it late. Come back tomorrow. Royals got time.
We'll be right back.